So tell us a little bit about that. What do the systems look like, first of all, what exactly the wealth system is.
Hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that and take us through that. And then we also wanted to know about your residency, the real estate residency.
Yeah.
That's the other term that you have coined. I wanted to learn
Yeah.
about that as well.
So the physician wealth systems, when the development of first, it was the idea, that kind of
Uh-huh.
epiphany of hold on a second, I can do this. I can give the physicians the equity that they've been asking for. We
Hmm.
can work together. That was the first thing, and then the second thing was when you're really developing the uh, the the product, the service. It was for me getting down so far into the niche of what we were providing that there is no other person providing what we provide inside of the one product of Physician Wealth Systems. And that's 12 single family residential rental properties in 12 months, but it's a turnkey business that's done for you 100%. And what I mean by that is I'm not selling you turnkey properties. I'm not saying, hey, I went out, I've renovated this, I've got the tenant in, and then here's this marked up price, and you could have it for that. No, this is everything in the burst strategy, and then leveraging DSCR loan products with our connection of lenders. So we've got it down, the appraisal process, the everything that I've pulled my hair out for the past 15 years is exactly what we've laid out.
This is the Real Estate Vibe Show, and I'm your host, Vinki Loomba. As a real estate investor and a fund manager, I'm always excited to explore the world of real estate opportunities with you and for you. And today, I have a very good friend. We just became friends, but it happened that we became very good friends. And my friend's name is Brett Riggins. And welcome to the show, Brett. I'm super happy to have you here with me.
Thank you so much. I am excited to be here, Vinky. Again, thank you so much. Thank you to the listeners for tuning in today and sharing in the conversation with us as well.
Great. So a little bit about Brett. I'm going to give a little intro and then we'll dig deep in our today's topic and learn more about Brett. Brett is a 20-year real estate veteran and a founder of Connect Home Buyers with Physician Wealth Systems. With 20 million in transaction, he's passionate about helping people achieve their dream lives through real estate. Today, we'll be discussing Physician Wealth Systems and real estate residency. Yes, real estate residency. Isn't that a cool topic? And in this episode, we'll explore how physician wealth system is helping medical professionals create wealth through real estate outside of their medical profession. And we'll also dive into the unique concept of real estate residency. I kind of love this real estate residency terminology and wanted to kind of understand from Brett, what's this all about, because I think he coined this term. And also, we wanted to discuss how doctors can leverage property investments into building their financial security alongside their careers. So, Brett, can you tell us a little bit about what your physician wealth system exactly is, or how did you get inspired to get that started?
Hey, great question. Well, it started way back with my journey and my journey into real estate. And I often get asked all the time, what is I'm not a physician. So how did I get started working with physicians? Well, it started with my journey in real estate. My journey in real estate started actually in the construction side, construction management engineering, architectural engineering, but I've done hands-on from the plumbing under the concrete to the concrete. And if there are anybody out there who has ever poured concrete, I feel so sorry for you. Um, I would not put that on anybody. But from the concrete into the walls, the framing, the roofing, I've done it all. And the most important thing that I've learned along the way is that you don't know everything.
Mhm.
So in that journey of picking up the things, I never wanted to draw pictures or have a team where my way was the only way. I wanted to learn more ways to do things. And the biggest thing that I learned, like I said, was that I didn't know. So that carried through on into the real estate world. And when we started investing in real estate, I actually got my first house in 2007. I always
Mhm.
tell everybody that I did everything wrong. I didn't have the right people around me. I didn't have experienced people around me. I didn't have
Mhm.
any acquisition equations or processes or documents or nothing. I had none of that. So I bought this house, and everybody knows what happened in '08, and everything went wrong from the value of the property. This little town that I bought the a place in, Vinky, the school system closed in 2008. So not only did we have a crashing market, but then the school system closed. The town pretty much went to nothing. Anyway, made all the wrong mistakes there, but I still kept going. I ended up holding on to that property, learning what to not do as a property manager. Um, but then carried on into real estate even further. Once I started fixing and flipping, that's when my introduction came to the relationships with physicians because they were my private money lenders. They were like I say, they were like the nitrous oxide to my racing engine. We were doing 6 flips at a time, and I needed capital to do that. When I started doing this, I didn't have any money. I was using OPM, other people's money. But along with that, that's where the equity and the relationship started building with the medical professionals. And this is, it can be high income earners in general, where they have more money than they do
Mhm.
time to do this. So they're looking for more of a passive opportunity. That's where Physician Wealth System finally comes in, Vinky. Long story short, I always got asked, hey, how can we get deals like this? How can we get equity? And at that time, that just wasn't possible in our arrangement because that was how I was feeding my family. Well, a couple of years ago, I came up with the idea of instead of, we were nationwide real estate acquisition. And instead of when I go into a new town, I got to build a whole new company to disposition this deal that we just got. I have to have new contractors, new vendors, all that stuff. What if I just plug these physicians, these high income earners directly into our acquisition machine and then gave them the resources that we've built by blood, sweat, and tears, managing our own real estate investment portfolio. So now we can acquire for them, with them, and then the turnkey business side through our resources and our connections, our integrations, our automations, our SOPs, give them the opportunity to be the business owner as opposed to the landlord.
Okay, that's a really good synopsis for everything, whatever you did. But we wanted to break down everything starting from the very beginning because it's a lot that you did in such a short term from starting from 2007 until now. First of all, congratulations for that, getting
Thank you.
from ground zero up till here and setting all the systems and processes in place. But I'm going to go back in your story and then way back when you started, when you did not do anything right. What was
Mhm.
that experience like? First, tell me that. Did you feel like, oh my God, where I am, why I'm doing this? Or how did you
Yeah.
get that hurdle? Get through that
Yeah.
hurdle?
So um, I'm an optimist to my downfall. It creates problems with me because I only see the potential to make things right or better. And in that journey, I felt the same way where like everything kept stacking up against me with the way that the market was turning. And I was just going to clean out the trash and cut the grass, and I was going to sell this particular property.
Mm-hmm.
But it just didn't work like that. So I had
Mm-hmm.
started this with 3 other people with me. Within the first 2 weeks, two of them bailed out. The last one stuck with me for maybe a couple months, but it was me. I was the one. I leveraged the debt. I had everything to lose on this, and the other people didn't. So it was easy go, easy come, easy go, and that particular scenario was again learning 101 who to partner with, how to partner. But then
Mm-hmm.
the idea of I was never felt like it was a problem because of my optimism, my solution orientated perspective of taking it through. Every time a hurdle came up, I just found a solution to get over it. And I didn't know anything, I didn't know any better. Vinky, I didn't know that that's not what every other investor was doing. So it felt normal to me. It didn't feel out of the blue. There are certain hurdles that came up that made it really, really difficult. So I that first loan, I think it was through Chase or sold to Chase. I don't know if they acquired debt, but they had reevaluated the escrow. Now,
Mhm.
if anybody out there has paid a mortgage on the tax insurance, the pity, principal interest tax insurance, and when that escrow is reevaluated, they doubled the payment on me. So if I was had any room of making any money at all, and then all of a sudden your lender doubles the payment on you, I'm literally now paying money for some horrible tenant that I didn't know how to screen or filter to live in this place, give me problems. I'm now paying almost as much as they are for them to live in this place. Mind blowing. But those are the things where I just picked up and I kept going. I kept going. There was nothing. I burnt the ships. There was nothing that was going to stop me to figure this out because some reason I knew that this was the direction that I needed to take.
I think that was awesome learning lesson for you because you went through all the challenges and all the struggles, but your determination and being persistent just, brought you through this. But my next question for you is, you mentioned that you got in touch with the medical professionals and they were your lenders. How did that happen? So take us through that journey. How did you build those relationships? And you were able to use the OPM, that's the terminology that you used earlier, other
Mhm.
people's money. So
Yeah.
take us through that journey, please.
Great question. So I coming from no one around me invested in real estate. The biggest inflection point that I talk of in my history and my journey was when I invested my wife and myself invested in us when we went with a mentoring program. It was called Fortune Builders. And it was, I think, in 2017, I think. It was a massive investment. And inside of that program is where we learned how to leverage private money, how to talk, how to just even understand that it doesn't have to be a bank or some specific hard money lender to get this money from. And the process of how we use the same documentation, whether it's a mortgage or a deed of trust, use the insurance, use the title company, have it recorded on a lien on the property. So it was the same process, just flipping the script. That was step number one. But once that happened, then it's always it's like an epiphany when you understand, hey, the money that you are looking for is likely within the 5 or 6 people that you talk with every single day. So now I had the opportunity, the idea, and I had the systems, the script, and I had to then make sure that I had my elevator pitch down because if I come up to you, Vinky, and say, hey, I want to borrow 100,000, have $300,000. What do you think? I have to have that experience behind me to mitigate the risk for the lender. In these particular scenarios, I had some, like I say, the 5 or 6 people around me that I had already known were then become my lenders in that situation. And once I had bumped into a couple of physicians, hey, this works out great. This works out great for both of us. I had great double-digit returns, and it was secured by local real estate. It was just a great process. So after that, my favorite relationship that I have made is actually it was at a different mastermind. I was in Miami. I met another investor who one of his best investors was this particular physician. So
Mhm.
we had established a very genuine relationship there at this mastermind, and he had enough trust in me and my relationship that he made the connection with his physician investor, and from there it just snowballed, and that's where Physician Wealth Systems and all of that came from.
Wow, this is pretty awesome. I think this is all about like being persistent, your determination and tenacity, all your soft skills that takes you through whatever you're going through, all the challenges and storms, people call it sometimes,
Yep.
But real estate is such a powerful tool, powerful wealth building tool, I would say. And bringing in the physicians into that world, that's pretty awesome. And then you have even written a book now, right? On
Yes,
the
ma'am.
acquisition systems. So let's talk about that a little bit. What challenges did you face to set up that kind of investor nexus for you? Connecting with them, and then you realize, let me create the system for them because your focus was maybe adding value to them more, right? Because when you're adding value to other people's life, you get that back. So tell us a little bit about that. How did you what do the systems look like, first of all, what exactly the wealth system is.
Hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that and take us through that. And then we also wanted to know about your residency, the real estate residency. That's
Yeah.
the other term that you have coined. I wanted to learn
Yeah.
about that as well.
So the physician wealth systems, when the development of first, it was the idea, that kind
Uh-huh.
of epiphany of hold on a second, I can do this. I can give the physicians the equity that they've been asking for. We
Hmm.
can work together. That was the first thing. And then the second thing was when you're really developing the 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 product, the service, it was for me getting down so far into the niche of what we were providing that there is no other person providing what we provide inside of the one product of Physician Wealth Systems. And that's 12 single family residential rental properties in 12 months, but it's a turnkey business that's done for you 100%. And what I mean by that is I'm not selling you turnkey properties. I'm not saying, hey, I've went out, I've renovated this, I've got the tenant in, and then here's this marked up price, and you could have it for that. No, this is everything in the burst strategy, and then leveraging DSCR loan products with our connection of lenders. So we've got it down, the appraisal process, the everything that I've pulled my hair out for the past 15 years is exactly what we've laid out in this
Hmm.
process. That was a huge piece to get down and provide so much value, like you're saying, Vinky, that it made sense. So that was a huge piece. Inside of that process is where the book came along. And the book is called How to Get Rich as a Doctor. This thing was a journey in of itself. Just like how many physicians I have on my show come and say, well, I love this conversation because once they start their own business, I'm like, well, where'd you learn how to do that? Because you don't learn that in med school, right? Most people won't learn how to start a business or be a business manager or a business owner other than in the real world. The same way for me was like, okay, you're going to write a book. How do you do that? So that was a big journey. It was such a great journey, but again, it was to provide so much value for our listener, for our client, for our community that it just made sense for it to work. And we learned so much in that process, in the research process, in the writing process. Ultimately, I'm going to start with mindset and the differences that you have to make within yourself in order to become the person who can leverage the beautiful thing of real estate to build wealth. And in this book, we talk more about that, leveraging good debt to build wealth in real estate, specifically in the single family world. So those pieces put together, the physician wealth system, the how to get rich as a doctor. That's such fun. That I could tell you a story about writing that book too. But that then turned into the byproduct. And when I say byproduct is when we go through, if you could imagine what it takes to do 12 properties in the burst strategy, 12 properties in 12 months, it's it's intense. Like it takes a lot. And the systems behind us, the processes. Well, what happens is the byproduct is all of these things that we give to our clients to bring them up to speed to make sure that they can be the business owner. There are systems, there are processes, there are integrations, there's scripts. All of that stuff is what is in real estate residency. It's just not done for you, right? The done for you piece is that upper level service that's provided. But all of the resources, the scripts, the connections, all these how-to videos that I've created over the years, all of that can be found in real estate residency. And you don't, even if you've got these mental mindsets or these mind blocks where you say, "Oh, I don't have the money, I don't have the time." If you're still working on getting through those and you need to continue researching and learning, it's a great platform because it doesn't cost anything, right? It's completely transparent. It's just showing you these things, giving you these resources to help you get to where you need to be. And I feel everybody needs to be in a position where they're working because they want to, not because they have to. And in order to get there, we really have to separate our time from our money. And real estate is a great way to do it.
Yeah, I know you said one thing very good early on too, and you repeated just now as well. Mindset is the key, right?
Yes.
And then you said you separate yourself from money, right? And then I think the whole conversation that we had until now, what I'm gathering from you is just like you have to work on yourself first before you get into something. And that's what you've been trying to say over and over again, right? With your challenges or the risk that you took, or you went through one property to multiple properties now, all the relationship building from bad relations to good relations. This is just like a process, and you're evolving with, the process. And as long as you're enjoying the process and evolving, you're becoming a better version of yourself. But again, it boils down to, again, your mindset, how much you're willing to change.
Hmm.
So when you came up with all this awareness that it's all about you, if you change yourself,
Yep.
you can change anything around you. You can write a book. So what was the biggest, I would say, the enlightenment point for you, or the moment of enlightenment for you that you thought, oh, I can do it. I got it now. Because I heard you saying that earlier too, when you bought the first property in 2007 with your two friends, they left you after a couple of weeks or a couple of months. You were on your own, but that did not derail you. You were still on the track and you knew you can do it, right?
Hmm.
So this is something, not everybody has that. This is something inside of you that kept you going. So what was that experience like? If you can share that with us, like you were like this from the very beginning, or was there a moment of enlightenment in your life or throughout your journey in real estate? Like something happened and the switch got flipped.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great question. And I'm just looking at table contents of the book, and the way that we start the book, chapter one, for things to change, you need to change. Boom,
Hmm.
right from the beginning.
Exactly.
And in this idea, and I say it all the time too, you want to change your life, change your mind. Everything starts here.
Mhm.
And like you say, we're not all born with this epiphany of, optimism and just tenacity. But along the way, the key point for me is I had that tenacity. I had this driving factor, whether I knew it or not. I didn't double down on it until I had the moment uh, that focusing on me was really important. So that self-realization that in order for me to develop, the personal develop side, I need to understand where I'm at now. I need to have that reflection, that interior reflection of who I am, how I react, why I react, how I
Mhm.
respond, why I respond, all of that stuff. And for me,
Mhm.
that happened easy to look back. When I mentioned we invested in ourselves, at that moment, that's when I started reading more. And
Mhm.
there's this, I don't know if it's a joke or where I saw it. It's like if you want to hide things from the world, put it in a book. Because so many people stop reading after high school. It is scary, really. And even college graduates, how many people stop reading after they've completed college? If you create a habit of reading 10 pages a day, nonfiction, there's a way that you can get to this level of self-realization, understanding of human nature, understanding of the past that shaped us, even our current things that are conditioning us. Those are massive ways to take steps forward. So once you have that reflection of what's going on, then you can have that base point. Okay, here, this is where I'm working from. This is who I want to become. So this is what I need to do to get there. That for me was the biggest turning point, that self-realization. It was all in books. It was when I started reading, started focusing on myself. It makes me think, Vinky, of when you're in an airplane, and every time that you're in an airplane and they tell you about how to use the mask, what's the first thing they say when if the mask drops? What do they say? They say put it on yourself first. And
Mhm.
that's the way that you should be looking at yourself. It is not so. You have to be selfish if that's what you got to consider in order to get better. I also think of it too, like if you're always in the weeds, if you're not raising your head up out of the weeds, you're not going to be able to help anybody else along the way. So it's really important to focus on yourself, change your mind, you can change your life.
Wow, I love that. Oh my God, this is the key thing right here. Because if you have that level of awareness, basically you can do anything. And that comes your determination, your passion, your tenacity, it will take you there. So let's go back to your book. You said there was a funny incident when you were writing a book. You wanted to share that with us?
So it just how it came to writing this book. So I wrote this book with a young gentleman named Thomas Guy. By the time he was working with me, and he was a nomad, right? And you see this with some of the more more than not younger generations that are doing this, which is cool. So he would work, we would work together. He would just be all different places all over the world.
Mhm.
And in this particular time when we decided to write the book, he was in Split, Croatia. I have never been to Europe. I've never been, any place like that. So I ended up flying over there, and I was over there for 7 days, and it was just straight focus. We wrote the book in 7 days in
Wow.
Croatia, and it was just 24/7, go, go. We stopped, we go to the gym and then go grab something to eat, but it was focused. And there's something that happens too. I say it a lot when I'm in the air, it's just there's something different. Like when I'm in airplane or a jet or whatever, there's just a whole different mindset that I'm able to connect with. And my journey flying over to Europe, was just it was remarkable. Just to detach from the world, focus in on this process and write and get all of this stuff out. I mean, I'm talking about 15 years worth of stuff that just when you it's so cool. It's such a cool experience too. If anybody has the opportunity to write, it's remarkable. And that first book is just yeah, I say it like that, first book, because I would love to write another book because there's so much in us that we don't take the time to slow down. Again, that self-reflection piece of there's so much in you, Vinky, that you could write completely and bring so much value to other people. But that along that journey was remarkable. To stop, take the time away from the day and create something like this is so amazing. And it's just the beginning too, because there's so much more opportunity now when you think of those situations where you can go out, step away from the daily grind and the ins and outs of the same thing to create such a beautiful product. And I hope to write another one. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, me too. And I'm pretty sure you will write it. And then you said few good things, and I'm going to highlight those points. You said slow down. Because what happened is most of the time we are just kind of in the hamster wheel in our thought process, and we are thinking we are a thought, and we're just like chasing that thought or multiple thoughts or whatever is happening. That's what's happening. So that's the reason we do not know what's going around us, the level of awareness that you're experiencing when you're flying. You say, you're elevated, so you're elevating yourself from your thoughts too, and that's
Mm.
where you can see the world a little bit better. And the other thing that you mentioned is just like you said, you can write a book too. Like I would say, everybody has at least one book in themselves
Yes.
because everybody's experiences are so different from the other person. So everybody, but if you have the courage, you should be able to write that book down or write down all your thoughts, all your experiences. That can help somebody else. But at the same time, that's going to happen, like what you said earlier, slow down. So it's like I use that terminology all the time, slow down to speed up. But in any case, if you slow down, you're gonna bring your thoughts a little bit at the low level, like at the place of calmness. When you touch that place of calmness, the creativity begins. And that's what happened with you. And I really appreciate that sharing with us. So let's go back to our real estate residency. I'm kind of attached to that term. So I wanted to understand that when you were researching or trying to figure out your systems and processes, did you come across some of the misconceptions that doctors might have investing in real estate? And if you did, how did you overcome that? Or how did you give them some tools to overcome that fear and then start investing?
Yeah, that's a great question too. So the misconceptions coming right out of the gate have to do what I feel in my research is how we're conditioned to feel and think about money and
Mhm,
what it takes to get it, what it takes to keep it. And all of this is so related to the idea of, hey, how can I do something where I don't actually have to do something to
mhm,
get money, right? And it seems too easy. Yeah, I should have to work harder to get this kind of thing. So the mind blocks, right? These mental blocks that we have are the biggest thing right out of the gate that happen. And another thing that jumps out to me about physicians specifically, I think it's for a lot of people, is the analysis paralysis. We
yes.
finally get to this point where we research, we continue, we read, we see all this, and then boom, we got an opportunity in front of us, and then okay, let me get back to you tomorrow. I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna read, check my numbers. I'm gonna talk to this other guy. I'm gonna do this. That's a huge problem that a lot of people face. The biggest thing on my show, I ask really if you could go back and sit beside somebody who's on a similar path to you, what would you say to them? And the
Mhm.
biggest response to that question is start sooner, invest in real estate sooner. And the only
Okay.
way to do that is to take action. So that leads to the third one. You've got that analysis paralysis. And then that third piece is taking action. Like you just don't take action. And again, why? Excuses we've got. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the energy, right? I've heard that before, the energy to burn. And you're right, it takes all of these things, but we can leverage other things, other resources, other opportunities to find that thing that fits for you. And the first thing that I talk about in real estate residency is find that thing that fits for you because that will mitigate so many of these other things to where you can't say no anymore because it fits. It aligns with your values, aligns with the time that you have now, paired with the time that you want to have later. It aligns with the capital that you have now compared to the capital you want to have later. All of that can be resolved at looking at the opportunities that are out there. And when that aligns with your values and you get around the right people, it's a no-brainer. It's like it's something you have to do. And then you listen to the other people. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago and today. So when you look back 20 years from now, that's today. And that tree should be planted today. It takes action and it takes getting over yourself, basically, understanding. It goes back to the mindset piece, that self-reflection piece, getting over yourself, take action, do it now. Inside real estate residency is that we're going to look at what aligns with you. If it's single family, a lot of people start. It's a great low barrier of entry.
Mhm.
There's more opportunities there. It's smaller mistakes. It's easier to get into. And a lot of us start there because that's where we live. So if that's the path that aligns, the real estate residency is a great spot. If that's not, then inside of Physician Wealth Systems, there's a resource page that I want to do my best to give you as many opportunities as possible. So I've collected these relationships that we've had with other types of asset classes, multifamily, even short term, storage, syndications, all of that stuff. I want to provide the connections along the way, making sure that I'm transparent 100%. I don't know everything. I make mistakes. I don't always have sunshine and rainbows all the time. I still have these hurdles to climb. But the thing that pulls me through all of that is this opportunity that I have to share what I do know, share the things that have worked for me, share what I'm seeing working for my colleagues, share those resources. That's what pulls me through. Because ultimately, my why, I think I finally figured this out, Vinky, is joy and happiness. And joy and happiness is something that I get through my family, through my colleagues, through talking, because so often when we teach, we learn. And in those times, like those, it's exactly what I get to do with real estate residency, pairing all the way back down into physician wealth systems, connect home buyers. It's such a great opportunity.
So this real estate residency is like a program, or what is it exactly? Can you tell us that, or can you
Yeah.
share with us like couple steps or couple processes in that?
Yeah, it is completely free. Like there's no charge or anything. And what I've done is I've tried to do it as a course but really when it comes down to it, if somebody feels that they don't have the time, they're not going to put it and try to rustle a course or anything like that. So it is stacked for me chronologically how I could take you from the question of, hey, I think I want to invest in real estate to bam, pulling the trigger, and then you being able to tell me how much money that you're netting a month for each door that you have. I want to take you from start to finish and provide that platform for you. And in real estate residency, it's chronologically laid out to make sure that that direction aligns with your values. And
Mm-hmm.
then what step do I need to take to go from maybe I know a little bit. How do I
Mm-hmm.
figure this out? Where should I invest? What should I invest in? What am I looking for? How do I mitigate my risks? All of this stuff is laid out chronologically in simple videos. And you can download stuff, and there's even toolkits that you can download and all the way into my spreadsheets, my chart of accounts for QuickBooks. Like there are just years of tears and crying and pain along with the joy, right? But all of that, I've just, like I say, I've compiled it and we've put it into this stuff and everything's there.
So let me ask you this question too. It's been coming to my mind, so I wanted to ask you that. For all these years of experience, what do you think? What is some of the common mistakes you see the first time investors, maybe it's the physician investors for your world, they make, and how your systems help them resolve it or train them
Yeah.
not to do that again?
Um, Number one is nobody's going to care more about your money than you do.
Mhm.
And that I see this a lot, whether it's coattail investing, looking for that easy button. Um, it's challenging. And sometimes when you get into certain investments, especially in real estate will make so much money that you won't even realize how much money it's losing. So sometimes on that, if you're not caring more about your money and you're relying on other people, oh, they should do this or they should do this, you set this out and you make this investment and it's not even performing anywhere near the way that it should be. That's a huge challenge. Another mistake that I see a lot is, uh, I think the biggest one is just not taking action. I think
Not
that's a
taking
mistake.
action. I agree
Yeah.
on that 100%.
So that's just a mistake, that's out there. And whenever I feel like I've committed that crime, I always kick myself in the butt, and I just got to stop at that point and move past it. But it's there. I think those are the two biggest things that stand out to me from that question are um, nobody's going to care more about your money than you do, and take action, not taking action. Those are the two biggest things.
Great. So finally, I want to ask you, where do you see your physician wealth system going in the next few years? And what's your vision for helping more medical professionals achieve their financial, they're already financially free. I shouldn't say that. I would say building more
Are
wealth.
they? I don't think they are. So you have to watch out. And a lot of times, we talk about it in the book too. And it doesn't have to be just for physicians. We create this lifestyle where there's the Parkinson's law. So things expand to the limits that you give them. So if I start off 30, $50,000 a year, and then I bump up, get a few raises or do whatever, move up to 75, 100. Well, guess what else is going to move up? That lifestyle
Yes.
creep. The
Yeah.
expenses are going to start expanding. So all of a sudden, I am making more money, but I'm not keeping as much money as I should. So when I joke around about that, but it's not really a joke because there's lifestyle creep, there's financial expenses as well too, student loans, all of this stuff that causes some of the mental stress and challenges that medical professionals have. And that's the real deal that we don't hear about a lot outside of the medical world, but the health of medical professionals is very, very risky at this point in time. So something to consider, and a lot of it, is coming down to the systems, the insurance. Oh my goodness, insurance. Um, the conglomerates, corporations buying up
Right.
hospitals and offices
Mhm.
and it tears that on. That all pairs into just this never-ending uh, way of staying behind the paycheck. And so when I say that of some medical professionals aren't free, they are not there. They're on their
That's
way.
so true. That's so
How
true.
can we get there? Is I would really love to just keep giving and giving. And we've talked about this before, Vinky, the abundance mindset.
Mhm.
And that is such an amazing thing. And I feel on this journey where I'm at, I'm here now because I want to be here. I'm
Mhm.
here because I get to be here, not because I
Mhm.
have to be here. That is an amazing thing. So when I have people present things to me, it's one of the ways I look at it. It's like if I want to take day off, I'm going to take day off. I don't
Mhm.
need to talk to anybody or do anything. The companies are going to handle everything's going to be fine. I don't want to create situations where I can't have that. But in that regard, I now want to keep giving back and giving back and giving back. And I think in that abundance perspective, it will come back because I get to keep my why is satisfied. My joy and happiness is satisfied in this journey. So just collecting all these resources, giving back, providing this outsider's approach into the medical professional world because I'm not a physician, but I get to ask questions, I get to listen, and I get to be part of the world now through this journey that I have. And I mean, there's not too many other people out there who have the opportunities that I have. So now
Wow.
leveraging that and giving back in that regard. As a construction guy, as a real estate guy, I can help physicians this way. As a podcaster, I can help them this way. So we're compiling all that stuff and giving it out there. And the challenge will be just how can we get it to them before the world takes it from them, right? If they're out looking for their first piece of real estate to start their practice, how can I talk to them first before something bad gets a hold of them first?
Mm.
That's the biggest thing because out of that I have nothing. I don't want anything from them. I want something for them.
Great. So we're out of time. Can you share one golden nugget with my audience at this point?
Golden nugget. Ooh, that's a good one. Uh, your family is not in the way. Your family is the way.
That's so true. I love that. So this brings us to our why rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You're going to answer it only in one word or one sentence. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So what is one of the most important thing that you have learned in your life, and how did your life change after learning it?
Listening is the key. My life changed because now I'm able to build relationships that really matter.
I like that because when you listen, it's just like a whole new world, and that's one of the powerful communication skill. And share with me one good book other than your book that you like and recommend.
Oh, I'm always like on my latest book, so it definitely just depends on where the person is at asking me that. But the one I'm reading right now is Children Are from Heaven.
Oh,
So
nice.
it
I
is it
didn't
a
hear
great
about
book.
that. It's a good
Yep.
book. Great.
Yes, absolutely.
And who's the author?
He's got a whole series actually. It's John Gray. So he's the Men Are from Mars, Women Are from Venus author.
Oh, I
So
heard
there's
about
actually a
that.
few books in that series that are really good. But this one, Children Are from Heaven. And if anybody's out there who is maybe have children, even up into the teenage years, we are in a different point in our lives with the speed of data, the way that we get conditioned, the way that we're treated. Our children act differently than what the way we were and the way our parents were raised. So this is
That's
just
true.
an awesome perspective into that world, and it's never too late. It's never too late to change, never too late to be the change.
That's so true. It's a generation gap, actually. I can see
Yep,
that how the whole generation has changed in front of my eyes, at least. I'm
yep.
that old. In one word, what does life mean to you?
Love.
I like that. There's only 3 things I say all the time: love, peace, and happiness in the
Yeah,
world. That's the only things that we need, nothing
yeah.
else. What is your biggest passion?
Biggest passion is I just, when there's a problem or a challenge, finding the solution. I think my brain just won't stop until there's a solution. I think that's what pushed me through those early years of real estate. And it's so hard. It's a downfall too, because it's hard to turn it off. And I know a lot of listeners, high performers are out there like that. The brain won't stop working until that solution is there.
First type A, right?
Yeah.
If you could turn back in time and talk to your younger self, what would you tell yourself and why?
Uh, You need Jesus. Jesus for me was the ultimate turning point of me learning that love is the most important part of life. And I would just go back and if I could have had that self-realization earlier to see who I'm destined to be and start working towards that person sooner, I think that is definitely something I would lay in there. But ultimately, I'm not going to change anything, Vinky. I am so happy with
That's
what
so
has been laid out here and the
true.
experiences, good and bad, that have come along the way because I have 2 beautiful children. I have an amazing, beautiful wife, amazing family, amazing opportunities. Would not change a thing. But Jesus for me was the change. So
That's true. All these experiences make us who we are. So finally, I'm going to ask you, how can people reach out to you?
smoke signal is best. If no, I'm just joking. The website is it. We've been working a lot to combine resources in there and make it easy. to access things like real estate residency, the toolkit, all of that stuff to help you help yourself. Like we said before, you want to change your life, change your mind, and it starts by taking action. www.physicianwealthsystems.com, and it's there. I'm sure they'll put it in the description, but that's that simple. You want to change your life, change your mind, and it doesn't have to be massive change to change in a direction. You could be, I'm
Yeah.
happy where I'm at, Vinky, but I'm always loving change. I'm eyeballing my next book. It's sitting right down here on the floor. I've listened to it on Audible already. I know that's the next inflection point in my life. So you can be in a great place. There's always room to get better.
Grow. Yes. Thank you so much. And thanks for being on my show today. I really enjoyed our conversation.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for the invite. To the listeners, can I get this in there? Go out, leave a review for Vinky. It helps her out so much. If you've enjoyed the podcast, if you enjoyed other shows, she's a great person. It is awesome to be on the show. Thank you for having me and for giving us the time.
No, thanks so much again.